I think we're at a point where there needs to be a little bit more get pissed in everything that people are making. If people hate it, I don't really care. Like, I think we've all put a record together that stands for something and it means something, and it's like awesome to see.
This is a deeper listen from listener-powered KEXP. It's a show every week where we talk with musicians about the thoughts and the experiences that shape their music. I'm Roddy Nickpour. Emo revival fans rejoice because Algernon Cadwallader, the Midwest emo band originally from Pennsylvania that took a hiatus in 2012, is officially back with their first full-length album in more than a decade. It's called Trying Not to Have a Thought. 'KEXP's Meerah Powell spoke with some of the members about the band's revival, their newfound connections to the Pacific Northwest, and how the new album leaves little to the imagination.
17 years ago, Algernon Cadwallader released their debut album, Some Kind of Cadwallader, only to call it quits just a few years later. The band earned a modest but loyal cult following. Many fans consider them icons in the emo revival scene, and their fan base has only grown during those years apart. Their new full-length is called Trying Not to Have a Thought. It even features their original lineup from 2008. As luck would have it, the band has also since established a cross-country connection to the Pacific Northwest. Peter Helmuth, the band's vocalist and bassist, moved to Portland, Oregon in 2020. The band's drummer, Nick Tazza, has lived in Seattle since 2021. The other half of the original lineup of the band, guitarists Joe Reinhardt and Colin Mahoney, still live back east. I sat down with Peter and Nick to chat about the new album, their influences, and the struggles of trying not to have a thought in a very thought-provoking world. So, in bringing back the original lineup of the band, I heard you did some writing retreats together after you had all done an Algernon Cadwallader reunion tour in 2022, one in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and the other in Snoqualmie, Washington. Tell me a bit about that.
We were kind of fresh off the reunion tour, realized if we wanted to keep playing together as a band, we had to write new music. Maybe not for everyone else, but just for us. Like, we couldn't just play these old songs, even though we still like playing those too. Yeah, I think we had a few shows in 23. One of them was Bumbershoot out here, and another Philly Music Festival. So to prepare for those, we already had to get everyone in one place to rehearse and stuff like that. So we just booked like a week at these Airbnbs and just hunkered down. We think we spent one day like rehearsing our songs and our set, and then the rest of the time just writing new material. And we didn't know kind of what would come out of that or how hard it would be, whatever. It ended up just like pouring out of us. Like, I think after the Snoqualmie retreat, that was the first one, we had like 7 songs or something, like the shells of songs, We've always written all of our music just starting with like jamming. You just pick up our instruments, start making noise, and then, I don't know, we're going anywhere from like 20 minutes to 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like my favorite thing, just to get together with these people that I've been playing music with for like more than half of my life. And it was just, I don't know, really, for me anyway, I don't know, just like one of the healthiest experiences, like just like hanging out in nature and, being able to do our thing at our own pace and just kind of be afforded that time to be together. Like, in one sense, it's difficult for us to all be in one place at the one time. We're spread out between East Coast, West Coast. Colin's a father. Everyone's got pets and stuff like that. And But when we do get together, everyone kind of knows it's game time. So it's, in that sense, it's actually, I think, like, it helps us, like, really dig our feet in.
I mean, like he said, we've been playing together for a long time. The three of them have been playing together for probably 25 years. I'm somewhere around 20 with them, but it was, shockingly easy. And almost to a fault, I felt spoiled at the end of it, just like being able to sit down and just rip tunes out like that.
What made you pick those two specific places, the Poconos and Snoqualmie?
Logistics, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think, just kind of like making it fair for everybody, like have a West Coast date, an East Coast date. Just the fact that we want to be out, hanging out somewhere beautiful, like, have you been to Snoqualmie?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, and
nice.
Twin Peaks is right there.
I was going to ask if there was Twin Peaks. Did you get the
It's
cherry pie?
It's definitely a plus.
We did,
yeah.
actually,
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, the pie and coffee is great.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's just a little bit of something extra for us, to like be able to hang out in those places. And, the Poconos is like the nature we grew up going to. That was like as naturey as you got. Like, it's basically like, the suburbs out here.
Yeah.
It's nice to just, get away from all the distractions and just be able to focus on what we're doing.
Okay, so I know you weren't all just sitting around doing nothing in the time Algernon wasn't a band. There were many different projects you all had. I won't name all of them, but Peter and Nick, along with Joe, one of Algernon's guitarists, you were all in the band Dogs on Acid, which just had a 10-year anniversary for its debut self-titled album. And Joe was also in the Philadelphia band Hop Along. And like I said, so many other numerous amounts of other projects going on.
Yeah. And then the Algernon thing just like popped up kind of out of the blue. It was not expected to happen. And then when it did, we've just been kind of running with that.
I do want to dig into some specific songs on the album. The song Koyana Scotzi is inspired by the 1982 film with the same name. Can you tell me about that song? And maybe, what the movie is about, too, if people aren't familiar?
Sure, yeah. Classic little art film. Famous, like, soundtrack by Philip Glass. It's basically just, like, a film about, industrial complex, just industrial life, civilization. Koyana Scotzi is a Hopi word that means life out of balance. And that's what the film is, just, like, slow motion, beautiful shots of, like, cityscapes, like, urban craziness, but it's just also just very pretty and it's used to watch it back in high school and just kind of like, trip out, get real stoned, and just be like, whoa, it's one of those movies. It also does include the oldest lyrics on this record. I wrote the chorus, vampires in fast cars, vampires in red cars, hooked on speed and blood, like right after Algernon ended. I forget if they were maybe like going to be Algernon lyrics or something, or I remember me and Joe jamming right after Algernon ended and like singing those lyrics, but then they just kind of like stayed in the book, went on the back burner, and then started writing this song, and I was like, finally.
It's 2020.
You spent a lot of time together, obviously, when you were younger in Pennsylvania, and there are some direct Pennsylvania references on this album, too. I think maybe the most obvious is the song Attention Move. It references a bombing by police in Philadelphia in 1985 against this Black revolutionary group MOVE. talk a bit about the story behind that song and what inspired you to write it?
Yeah, I mean, it's some of the craziest shit that ever happened, in our country's history, and it happened right in Philadelphia, and it's widely written about, and, there's documentaries, there's other songs about this, but it still feels like overlooked and like just kind of swept under the rug. And like this happened in May of 1985. There was like longtime feuds between the Move people and just the city of Philadelphia. It started in the 70s. They were constantly just getting harassed and, unfair treatment, even for anything they might have been doing. And then famously, there was a standoff outside. They showed up with 500 police, just like Swiss cheese the house with bullets, like children inside, like 5 kids are in there. And then they dropped a bomb, an actual bomb from a helicopter, burnt down the house and like houses around it.
Flames begin to dance from roof to roof, followed by the camera crews.
It just felt like one of those, parts of Philadelphia that as like a Philadelphia band, we should highlight. Like I said, there's other songs about it, other punk songs and stuff, but I was like, I feel like Algernon should have a song about this. I mean, Joe lives like, less than a mile from where this happened. His studio, we pass right by it all the time when we're driving from his place to the studio. Another big thing when I was just like approaching this record writing in general and just thinking about being Algernon again in, the 2020s, I thought a lot about, when I was first coming to Philly to check out like the punk scene, like late 90s, turn of the century, there was always literature at the shows, and there was always free Mumia posters and pamphlets. And this Mumia Abu Jamal was, a Move member who was arrested separately for killing a police officer, allegedly. And I don't know, just thinking about how, like, when we first started coming to punk shows, we'd see those flyers and it's posted up at every show, and we were just, like, soaking up everything we needed to know about, like, the punk scene. And like, oh, what's it? Like, we got to know about this. This is important. This stuff's here. And then by the time we moved to the city, like 2004, 2005, and, like, we started our bands and, like, we were the ones putting on shows, I don't know, it kind of, that element faded out a little bit. And to a degree, I feel like, that we kind of dropped the ball on that.
The elder punks became elder and, they passed the torch. I didn't know exactly what you're talking about. I never thought about it that way. But I mean, I remember going to the city in like 97 and you would drive past City Hall and it was like on fire that night. Like every Friday and Saturday night, it was like all hands on deck. And I haven't seen it like that in years.
Yeah, so just like, as us as a band coming back, I was like, man, this is kind of like an opportunity to maybe unfumble that ball and talk about these things. What I really liked about it then and like looking back on it was that it's not like, all these bands weren't even like political punk bands. It was just like, oh, you want to be punk? Like, this comes along with it. Like, you got to know all this shit. It comes along with it.
Okay, so bringing it a little more present day to where you are now in the Pacific Northwest, there are some Pacific Northwest mentions too. The song $1 Million specifically calls out Portland. Can you talk about that song and kind of the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, when I moved to Portland, it was the pandemic. And with like George Floyd uprising, like the only thing you could do socially was just like be out on the streets and try to be a part of your community and doing something. And you know, I took a cue from my friends on the East Coast who were all getting involved with like mutual aid stuff. You know, eventually discovered, I was like, oh, this is just like punk. This is just like DIY. You just go out there, give people what they need. You know, it's not really more complicated than that. Like, sure, there's like nuances and like, I think you can learn to do it in different ways. But yeah, I've been like doing some sorts of more mutual aid ever since. And this song, $1 Million specifically, was just like about this infuriating situation of Portland spending $1 million just to install cemented down giant rocks under the highway bridges so that homeless people couldn't camp there. And they go literally like right along the line of the highway. So just outside of the highway overpass, you see tons of tents and people living in the rain and the mud. You know, they could have just been right there, but no, we're going to spend $1 million just to make sure that you can't have cover from the rain.
Well, Frank here just had a brilliant idea. Spend $1 million on rocks. Solely to keep people from sleeping. Out of the rain, under the freeway.
And it just, I don't know, points out the huge failures of, you know, these so-called solutions that the cities have out here. And I don't know, you know, just like wanted to point out the hypocrisy and throw those people literally under the bus, you know?
Other songs on the album also touch base on the state of the country and the world, like Revelation 4:20.
It takes a gaslit nation to stand behind the crimes coming out of our paycheck. And meanwhile, wonder when your dreams will make it out of bed.
And another track, You've Always Been Here.
Keep your kids safe from the truth. The system isn't broken, it's working the way it's supposed to.
I think about your earlier releases, and a lot of this new album sounds very different, at least to me, and at least like lyrically. It's not like there wasn't commentary on things, you know, happening in society or in the world before, you know, in your earlier records, but now it just is like so much more forefront and obvious, with some songs like Attention Move even having this like straightforward narrative. Was it an intentional decision to take many of the songs on this album in a more political direction?
It was kind of intentional. Like, you know, I think I just started, like I said, like this is just what was coming out of my head. And I maybe thought about it for a split second. Because back in the day, Algernon, it was actually a specific intention to keep lyrics kind of ambiguous and like up to interpretation.
Let me tell you what I think about frost. It's sunny on, that's right. And the next lady should be
I don't know, I think at the time it was the band I was in that most felt like each member was bringing the most of themselves to the band, and it was like a melting pot. So I didn't want to have like very personal, like first person lyrics on top of it. So that was specific for back in the day. And then, you know, things can change. Like, you know, I said, reevaluating the band for these times, started writing some of the lyrics and read about it, like read them back and thought about it for a second. And I don't know, it took like 1 second to be like, yeah, that's fine. That's what it's going to sound like now. Like I said, I could pretty much trust that these guys were going to be on board. You know, I wasn't saying anything that they were going to disagree with.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. It kind of ties back to the album title itself, as far as like trying not to have a thought in these times that we live in, you know, kind of that duality or balance. I don't know. I think obviously a lot of people right now are maybe trying to ignore what's going on in the world when it is a very thought-provoking time. So yeah, I just think it's interesting that you kind of came into it with this intentional wanting to go there.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, sorry, Pete.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I think we're at a point where there needs to be a little bit more get pissed in everything that people are making. Everyone feels it, and I think people need to kind of stop shying away from it. And I'm super proud of what Pete did because, he used his voice to convey something of purpose, and that's like, I don't know, I think that's like the best case scenario for doing anything right now is to, how can you just, what's the right word? How can you just kind of disrupt things in any way that you possibly can? It's like a greater kind of whole that we all need to be pushing for collectively. And I think the record is like perfect for where we are right now. Like if people hate it, I don't really care. Like I think we've all put a record together that is like, it stands for something and it means something. And it's like awesome to see, especially all the bands we loved growing up are, I don't know, super political. And like, that's all we cut our teeth on. And so to just see it come full circle and us be able to put something out there that might move the needle in some way is like kind of cool.
I always thought it was cool too to have like music be a vehicle for a message, I don't know, throughout our reunion tour, this was like the height of everybody, I don't know, really being collectively like pissed off about this stuff and spending so much time in between songs, like talking about this shit, which is great. We feel empowered and stuff like that. But like, we're also here to like get away from it and like enjoy ourselves and like, I don't know, feel some spirit come into us. Like that's why we go and enjoy art and entertainment and music and stuff. And so that was one of the thoughts, during that split second decision, like, oh, do these lyrics fit on here? It was like, well, also now it just comes along with the music. Like don't have to like wait till in between the songs to like talk about this stuff. It's going right along with the music. And anytime someone plays it, they're hearing the message. So
Yeah.
Keep music punk and stay punk and yeah, free Palestine.
I'm trying not to have a thought, but not having much luck. Can't shake 'em, they keep catching up. Seem to me suspiciously peripheral. I'm a sucker for a reliable surprise.
Okay, so the last thing I wanted to ask both of you, which we love to ask artists whenever we get a chance to talk to them, what's some music you've been listening to recently that you've been loving? Any new favorite artists you want to shout out, or old favorites too?
Ooh, I'm, maybe, I don't know how late I am, but just got on the Friendship train. Friendship from Philadelphia, loving that stuff.
Trading everything in free association.
Oh God. I've been really deep on Sun Organ recently. Just like my wife's getting mad because I keep re-listening to like all of it. I think, yeah, I'm always bad at this question.
I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you. I was waiting.
Thank you guys so much.
Pleasure talking.
And that was A Deeper Listen. Thanks for supporting A Deeper Listen. One of the easiest ways you can do so is by commenting on this episode on YouTube or leaving a review of the show on whatever podcast app you like. And you can do it more easily than you can say Algernon Cadwallader. Another easy way to support the show is to give us your money. And it's easy in terms of logistics. It'll just take a few minutes of your time. The hard part, for some people at least, is finding that initial push to make the donation, because it seems ephemeral for some voice to tell you that we need your money. Well, KEXP is a public radio station, and our fall fund drive is coming right up around the corner. So we're going to keep reminding you again and again that you are the one who brings this show to life, and not just A Deeper Listen, really every podcast from KEXP, including our Live on KEXP sessions and all of our on-air programming. It is possible because of the community that believes in our mission of championing music discovery and building a community around that. Please make a small monthly donation at kexp.org/deeper. Big thanks to Midday Show producer Meerah Powell for producing this interview, Janice Headley for web design, and Matt Ogaz for audio mastering. I'm Roddy Nickpour, thanking you once again for taking a deeper listen. Take care.